table for a linear equation. Fill in the table using this function rule. So they give you an equation, they want you to fill in the table. The first thing I look for are 0 and 1 if they want me to fill in those, because those are the quickest. And I'll explain why in just a second. If it's not 0 or 1, you have to do a little bit of work. For 0, the number that doesn't have a letter stuck to it, a -1 in that case, that goes with 0. And then a 1, for a 1, you scratch out the x and you do what it says. So 6 minus 1 is 5. So that's why I look for 0 and 1 first, because they're the easiest. The rest of them I have to actually do the work. So here's what I mean by that. Let me show you what it was again. Okay, so we're going to plug a -5 in for x. So 6 times -5, and then take away 1. So 6 times -5 is -30. A -30 and a -1 is a total of 31 negatives. And this little square is not big enough. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's that one. And then this -1, 6 times, again, you plug the number in for x. So 6 times -1 is -6 minus 1. You've got, I'm sorry, my brain's thinking of the answer ahead of time. You have a -6 and then another -1. You have a total of 7 negatives. Okay, so that table is complete. On the next one, again, look for 0 and 1 first, because 0 means the number that doesn't have a letter stuck to it goes with that. 1 means you scratch out the x and do what it says. So 2 plus 5 is 7. Now the rest of them you actually do have to do a little bit of work on. So you're plugging this number in for x. So 2 times -2 plus 5. 2 times -2 is -4 plus 5. That's like 5, take away 4. So that's a 1. Now we're going to do it all over again, plugging in a -1. So 2 times -1 is -2 plus 5. That's like 5, take away 2, which is 3. So that table is finished. The next one, look for 0 and 1, because if they want those, that's nice. 0 goes with the number at the end, or I shouldn't say at the end because they can switch it up on you. It's the number that doesn't have a letter stuck to it. So that's a -1. And then, I'm sorry, I put that in the wrong spot. That goes with 0. And then 1, you scratch out the x and do what's left. 5, take away 1 is 4. All the rest of them you do have to figure out by substituting the x in. So I'm going to do 5 times -1 and then -1. All I did was take the -1 and plug it in for x. Everything else stayed like it was. So 5 times -1 is -5 minus 1. So I have a -5 and then a -1. So that's a total of 6 negatives. This next one, 5 times 2 minus 1. So 10 minus 1 is 9.